Welcome back to another Wrestling is Terrible video. I'm Jeremy Branch, and I'm joined with Tristan Glover, the martial arts film freak. What's up, Tristan?
Let's get to another one.
So on this video, we're going to be discussing a WWE Hell in a Cell match from 2017 between the Usos and the New Day. And this is actually one of the few matches that I've seen before. I actually had somebody else suggest this video to me a couple of months back. That said, I didn't realize it until I started it, but I made sure to watch it again in its entirety. And I really enjoyed this match. But Tristan, before we get into it, why this match?
I just figured, the Usos have broken from the bloodline in a pretty epic way. Let's celebrate that by watching one of their best matches, in my opinion.
It really is a good match. And I actually just now purchased WWE 2K23 and have set up a match between the Usos and the New Day. And I'm going to be playing it at the same time in this video. You'll notice it down there somewhere. It's like it's somewhere around here. But I thought that was cool. Like, that's one thing that I'm not able to do with AEW until I get that game. But like, whatever match we're talking about, I might be able to simulate it. And forgive my shittiness. If I'm the Usos and I'm just getting destroyed in this match, it's because I don't know what I'm doing. But eventually, I will be every bit as good as the New Day themselves, which are kind of the unofficial gaming mascots of the WWE.
The New Day are just some of the most delightful people you've ever seen. And if you lose to them, there's no shame in getting beat up by the beauty that is Big E.
What's up with that? Don't they have like a YouTube or a Twitch channel?
Xavier Woods has and I think it's run by WWE, but he loves doing it. He has a channel called Up Up Down Down.
Yeah,
That's pretty massive. It's pretty big.
I feel like they have like controllers like on their suits.
They probably did in this one. They are big on crazy designs. They did one fantastic one time where Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods came out, and their gear was straight up the white and green Power Ranger. It was amazing. There was one time at WrestleMania, they came out with this huge Saiyan armor from Dragon Ball Z.
Sure.
One year, I think WrestleMania was sponsored by like a new Final Fantasy game. So they came out in like very Final Fantasy inspired gear. It was great. They're always fun.
Those controllers that were actually embroidered on this match are the same ones that were used in the Titan that recently went down to the Titanic and has since vanished. So as cool as controllers look on the uniforms, potentially not the best for underwater submersibles, but I don't.
No, I wouldn't recommend it.
No, I might be speaking out of turn. I'm no scientist. RIP to all those billionaires also, by the way. So yeah, I think the fact that they cosplay, it sounds like, is pretty cool. I feel like, is Zelina Vega the female wrestler that cosplays?
Yeah, she does a whole lot of cosplay stuff. Yeah,
That's cool. I dig that. So as
wrestlers these days are nerds. Sorry.
that's cool. No, for sure. I don't know that they haven't always been a little bit nerdy.
Oh, like there's a great quote, and I'll paraphrase it, I guess, from Kevin Nash, where he was just like, back in my day, you go backstage and everyone's drinking and popping pills. These days, you go backstage and everyone's just playing video games.
that sounds like a classic wrestler thing to say. Like it was the Undertaker talking to Joe Rogan. That was kind of like, wrestlers are soft these days.
Like, sorry, they're not stabbing each other in the back.
Yeah. And to be fair, every old person says that about everybody younger than them. So this is not a new tradition. Kids these days.
I mean, the wrestlers today and the New Day are a great example of it. The wrestlers today are the nerds who grew up watching wrestling.
Yeah, that's it, which is cool to me. So in WWE 2K23, what a mouthful, by the way. But in that game, it's Xavier that teaches you the mechanics of the game. He's kind of like your unofficial trainer into the game. So the fact that you said it's probably produced by WWE makes a lot of sense to me. Who's the third guy in New Day? You got Big E, you got Xavier, and you got who I think is that guy from SNL that does all the really good impressions.
Jay Farrow?
Yeah, isn't it Jay Farrow?
Kofi Kingston, man. Kofi Kingston.
Oh,
first guy in the New Day to win the WWE Championship.
He's really good. I didn't realize that was him, but when I was watching, I don't know, it was right around the time that I watched the Royal Rumble, and I don't know if it was from that or it was like a highlight thing of something else, but he's doing like headstand walking to avoid
he's big. I don't know if he did it last year or this year. For a good handful of years, he would like do these crazy sort of escapes where you thought he was going to get eliminated, but like his feet never touched the ground somehow.
Yes.
Whether it be jumping all the way to the barricade or doing a handstand or something. I don't think he did it this year. And then last year he went to do it and he kind of just messed it up. He was on the apron and he got pushed off and tried to jump backwards, do a 180 and sort of land in like a parkour kind of hang position from the barricade. And just, you could see you couldn't hide it that both of his feet hit the ground and they had to be like, all right, you out.
Oh yeah. Xavier is another one of those guys that seems to be, slightly acrobatic, I guess, for lack of a better word, but able to like grab the ropes, swing through them, do some cool, like evasive, techniques that I don't see often. I mean, I think I've seen him before, mostly with like the Mexican wrestlers, but, he's badass.
I love his finisher too. His finisher is like he gets up in the corner and then sort of sideways walks over a few feet into the rope and bounces out and does like this really long extended elbow drop.
That's sick.
I always enjoy that.
Yeah, that sounds cool. And then Big E is your more like brute force heavy. He's a freaking tank. He probably weighs 300 pounds. Some just massive
muscle. There's a great video on YouTube from just maybe well over a decade ago now of John Cena like had a gym where he would just invite all the other wrestlers to come work out, and like Big E like set like a bench press record in there, and so John Cena's just watching him like lift just this shit ton of weight, and John Cena, the whole room really is just screaming, get it, like Roman's the one spotting him and Big E's just pushing up the most weight I've ever seen.
Oh, holy shit. That tracks to me. He is a big dude. In his we're kind of just going to bounce all over the place in this, but in his intro promo type thing, he refers to the expression doom and gloom, but he called it gloom and doom. And for some reason, just swapping around those two words, it was funny to me for some reason.
Big E is one of the most delightful human beings you'll ever see.
Is that right? All right.
I hope he comes back from his injury.
He's injured.
He got dumped on his head by, I think, Ridge Holland in a belly-to-belly back suplex, and he just landed wrong and just landed on the top of his head and like compressed his neck a little bit. He should be all right. Hopefully should be back, fairly soon. But that one really bummed a lot of people out because like just a terrible thing happened to one of the nicest, coolest people. Is
this since you and I have been talking? Was it before that?
No, this was probably a little over a year ago.
Okay. Maybe. Okay. So look, we talked a bit about the costumes of New Day, and I do like their style. I actually, and I don't really, I'm lying. I noticed that when the match started, the Hell in a Cell ropes were actually New Day colors.
I didn't notice that at all.
I don't know if that's, I don't know if it was to match them. I don't know if they were to match the ropes, but it was that kind of fuchsia and blue colors. I mean, the exact same tone. So they came out, they cut the promo. I think they were probably the baby faces of this. Is that fair to say?
Yeah. And the New Day and the Usos had been on a good feud for a while. They had a great string of matches. Every single match they had was fantastic, and every single match they do still is fantastic. They were on a amazing rivalry, and I think it sort of ended, I think, with this match.
So y'all probably know that I'm a big Uso and Roman Reigns fan, just simply from the fact that I live in Pensacola. I've said it several times up to this point, and I fucking stand by it. I don't know how they worked this out with WWE, which historically is very theatrical. Wrestling costumes are usually very traditional. You've got the kind that Big E wears that's pretty reminiscent of something that Andre the Giant will wear. It's like the
It's a
strappy singlet, classic wrestling costume. And then you've got the Usos that come out in like streetwear. They've got like the sleeveless shirts on. They've got like pants and belts and fucking kicks. And Roman Reigns, same kind of deal. To me, they just like, they've got the coolest look. But if everybody did that, then nobody would be distinct enough. So I don't know. A lot of people wear the little mankinis also. And like, as long as they're different colors, but like, I just wonder how they like came in and they were like, we're going to like wrestle and look cool at the same time.
They had been, so before they were kind of a stereotypical, not super stereotypical. They wore like a Samoan face paint, like each one would wear it on different sides.
Yeah.
They would wear like the shorts, and everyone kind of called them almost like surfer dudes kind of thing.
I get it. Yeah.
They did that for quite a few years. And they saw success with it. They were good. But eventually they just needed something new. They needed to make a change. And suddenly they come out here in like streetwear and stuff. And it was a lot better.
Yeah. Every time the Usos and Roman Reigns enter the ring, they win me back over just out of the fact that I'm like, man, how do they get to be so cool? And I think that's probably been the big success to Bloodline for so long, is like they're just cool aesthetically. And they're really impressive wrestlers. I noticed, I guess it's probably one of their finishers, the frog splash, because they just do it a lot.
Like from each corner.
Yeah. And they do it a couple times in this match, and it's super badass. But speaking to New Day's like really cool technical stuff, is Big E is almost like Master Blaster, and then Xavier is kind of like it's a little thing that rides on the back of Master Blaster. I'm talking about
yeah. I know it. Yeah, Mad Max.
Yeah. Thunderdome. But like, so Big E is like the support that like launches Xavier into all of these cool like combo moves that are really cool as a tag team, because it shows how they like complement each other.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. No, and even then past that, like they each played like big, like I think Kofi and Xavier are of course both high flyers, and like you said, Big E is the sort of the heavy, but every now and again Big E will get up there and do something.
That's cool. Yeah, I want to see more.
And
of
like
that.
Big E does the most terrifying spear or whatever out. Like Big E, especially when there's not a cage there, Big E will just like, if somebody's standing on the apron, he'll just spear them through the ropes, and everyone's like, "You're too big to do that. Please be careful."
Oh my God. Talk about spearing through the ropes into chain link fences over and over in this match. There are so many times that they are like coming over the top rope with a spear, just smashing themselves and their opponent straight into this fence. And then they you drag down the fence after you hit it. There's some gnarly spots on this one.
My favorite spot in this, I remember watching it the first time, I thought, Jesus Christ, that's brutal, is they handcuff Xavier Woods to the outside of the corner, and they have his hands are handcuffed, like he's hanging from the cuffs on the outside on the corner, and like so his whole chest and everything is just exposed, and they just take kendo sticks and they just start wailing. And the first time that I saw this match, I was like, that's crazy.
It is. They completely beat the shit out of him. Kendo sticks.
Yeah.
That's got to be one of the most painful weapons.
And they leave some crazy welts on some people. Yeah.
They're hollow, obviously. But there's still like bamboo shoots, it's like lined bamboo, up with each other. And I imagine it's the space in between the bamboo that fucks you up.
Yeah. And they eventually start breaking, and it just becomes easier to just swing at you. Yeah, it's bad.
Oh man. Okay.
And one thing I like the Hell in a Cell matches I've been doing recently is they've been getting kind of creative with the kendo sticks. I think Becky Lynch and Sasha did it best, but this one they did it to where they put Jay or Jimmy, one of the Usos, in a corner, and they put they like in the corner of the cage, and they put a kendo stick just like across his face through the cage so he can't move. I've been like wrestlers have been kind of getting crazier with the structures they'll build within the cage recently. And like I said, the best one I think is Becky Lynch and Sasha Banks had a really good one. But yeah, I've been like enjoying that.
That was interesting. I actually took a note of that because I'd never seen it before. And yeah, there's some really cool stuff in here. Immediately when the match starts, they both just jump straight over the side, out of the ring, under the apron, just grabbing random shit. The trumpets come out a couple times, and I have to imagine that's kind of like a New Day thing where they use like instruments.
Well, specifically the trumpet for Xavier Woods. Xavier Woods, I don't know if he was like a band kid or something, but he can play a trumpet. So he likes to come down with a trumpet. Their chant, they'll get the crowd chanting New Day rocks. They'll clap New Day rocks, New Day rocks. So he'll have his trumpet and he'll go burn, 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 burn. One time, the funniest moment I think he did is AJ Styles spent a majority of his career in TNA. And so Xavier is on the outside of the ring during a tag match. He's not in the match. The other two are. And he walks over to AJ on the apron, and on the trumpet, he like starts playing AJ's TNA theme.
That's so, pretty
like,
cool.
Those hardcore fans hear it and they're like, "Oh, let's see what you're doing."
Dude, I don't want to pull back the curtain too much. I tried to investigate this morning. I know the steel chairs are not fucking steel chairs. They're like aluminum chairs. It looks better when you hit the guy with it and it demolishes the chair where you're like, oh, damn, he hit him so hard. It like bent the chair in half. But I also know that steel chairs aren't going to bend like that. I feel like either the slides are rigged to come out on the trumpets really easily so that when they whack them, the body flies away from the handle. That's all you're left with. But I also think they might be made out of plastic.
It sounded good when he hit him, though. The thwack sounded real good.
It did. And they go to town. And I'm not, even if the tables break easier, it's still a fantastic spectacle. Like, I'm sure you would rather land on a table than land on the concrete, but the audience loves it. The audience eats that shit up. Something that you and I have talked about before is that I think the most dangerous weapon they use in wrestling is got to be the ladder.
I mean, yeah, because you can't hide getting hit from that.
No, and it's just so like you can get hung up on it. You could get a limb stuck in some fucking awkward place and it just snap you.
There was a real painful one was in NXT a few years ago. Mia Yim, now on main roster, I guess, known as Mitchin. She's with AJ Styles in the club. She had a ladder match, or it was just an Extreme Rules match or something against Io Sky. And so Mia Yim is in the ring holding the ladder, and Io Sky springboards from the outside and drop kicks the ladder into her. Ooh. And she couldn't get to like a proper safe spot to not take a full blow in time. And she took the ladder right on the bridge of the nose.
Oh, man.
And you just see, like, you see it, you see the mark, you see the blood coming down. It's like, oh, that looks like it hurt.
Well, another one that you and I saw was when Balor took a ladder in the head from Edge, right? I think that's what he threw at him.
Threw it at him. Oh, yeah. Just threw a whole ladder at him.
Fucking split him, dude. That was crazy. There's a spot in this, and I can't remember what the setup is, but I think Big E either spears a guy out of the ring or throws them over the ropes, and they like come down on Xavier. And
so yeah, one of the Usos, one of the Usos and Big E are on the apron, and Xavier Woods is kind of down there by the floor, and he runs at Big E, and Big E catches him in one arm, pulls a full Uranagi, and throws him down. And as he throws him down, Xavier Woods gets as much under him as he can to land on his knees.
Oh, yeah. Good shit, dude. There's a couple of big frog splashes in this match. Like, I guess that is like one of the Usos things we talked about it a moment ago. They do it multiple times where like they'll do it in succession. Jimmy off the ropes or off the top turnbuckle, Jay off the top turnbuckle. So it'll be like boom and then boom. And I guess their finisher is probably when they do it together.
Right.
That was pretty cool. I guess when I look at these four guys, my intuition is to say that the New Day are more impressive wrestlers to me because of a lot of the, like, I guess, tag team synergy that they have. But the fact that Jay and Jimmy are able to get up there and just because, like, dude, every instinct in my body says when I'm falling to catch myself. So to just fucking swan dive and not want to like put your arms or your knees down and just fucking land like with your body, with your chin on top of another person, that's really impressive. So like they're big guys. They don't seem to me to be like as agile or technical as some of the guys that I really like, but they're still really good wrestlers.
Yeah, no, they're still fantastic workers. And I think that one or two times Big E kicked out of those splashes, and I was just so hyped. Still watching Big E kick out, I get excited.
Yeah. And when he like pulls the onesie
The
straps down, yeah, he's like
that's just like that's kind of a signature. Yeah, that's like a signature thing of like anybody. Even Willow Nightingale in AEW just did it, but Kurt Angle used to do it, like Wrestling Machine Kurt Angle. Whenever he pulled those straps down, it was like, oh, he's about to murder somebody.
Because Big E, he goes on like a fucking tear for a minute at that point.
Mm-hmm. You gotta let the nipples breathe.
He took both the Usos to task and had like this it was like a showcase of him for a minute because they want to show off that he is like this powerhouse. And up to that point, there wasn't like a opportunity to see him like, oh, he's really mad. He's gonna fuck people up, and he's just like, oh, he's really badass, dude. He's really badass. I haven't seen other matches, ironically, other than this one a couple times now, but I would be definitely interested to watch more.
Kofi and Big E so far the only people in the New Day to have won the WWE Championship. But Xavier Woods did win King of the Ring, so that's good. The frustrating part about both their title reigns is they were both ended by the exact same person, Brock Lesnar.
Brock Lesnar's like the title breaker guy.
There was a lighthearted joke on the internet when he beat Big E, because he didn't beat Big E in a one-on-one. He beat him in like a triple threat, and I think Big E still took the pin, which is frustrating because it's like there's someone else there to take the pin. You don't have to let Big E take it. But like I think there's only been 4 or 5 black WWE champions in the history of WWE, and all of them lost their title to Brock Lesnar.
To Brock Lesnar. He is.
So everyone's like, well, Brock Lesnar's a racist.
He kind of has that vibe. I mean, I don't want to put that out there into the ether. No,
it's a lighthearted joke, but
yeah. There
was this match did lead to one of my favorite non-wrestling moments. Came much later on, when Kofi Kingston was chasing the WWE title, and it was a fantastic build to one of the biggest, best, most emotional WrestleMania matches I've ever seen. Bryan Danielson, Daniel Bryan at the time, was the world champion. He was heel. He was a bad guy. And he had sort of become the thing he hated back when he was like a young, good guy. He was told like, you're a B player. You're not good enough. You're not a top guy. So now he's multi-time champion, and he becomes that top guy who's now telling Kofi Kingston, you're a B player. You're not on my level.
Okay.
And so Kofi Kingston's building that way up, going up. And eventually, because he's a B player, the authority kind of gets in his way, the McMahons and shit. And they keep just kind of putting those roadblocks in Kofi's way. Like, you're not getting a WrestleMania title match. It's not happening. And so finally they tell the New Day, Kofi gets his title match, but you two, Big E and Xavier, you have to win it for him. You have to go through a gauntlet match, which is like they have to wrestle like 5 matches in a row. And if you can win this gauntlet match, then your boy gets his title match. And so they go through the first like 3 matches. They're all grueling. They're all crazy hard matches. And they win the first 3. 4th match comes out, and it's the Usos. And the Usos get on the apron, and you look in the ring, and Xavier and Big E are tired.
They're just about dead already. They're exhausted.
And the Usos get on the apron, and they look at the New Day, and the Usos just say, we've been to war plenty of times. We know what you guys deserve this. We forfeit.
What? Is that after 2017?
Yeah.
That's dope. I like that. I'll have to check that out. That sounds cool. So anything else on this one before we wrap it up?
What was it? So do you know? I doubt you do know. So
I don't know shit, Tristan.
all three of the New Day,
Okay.
all three of the New Day were tag team champions. That is something called the Freebird rule, which started from an old tag team in like the 80s called the Freebirds. Some rocker dudes
Yeah,
where
yeah,
there
yeah.
was like a
Love
group of
Leonard
like three
Skinner.
of them. Yeah, and they would come down to Freebird and it was pretty hype. And it essentially just means that even though there's three people in the group, the whole group are tag team champions. And so, but at any match, they just decide, okay, you two go in. Okay, you two go in. And they can't, you can't just then sub a guy in, but the two people who start the match, they're the ones in the match. So all three are champions, but based on the Freebird rule, pick two, they wrestle the match.
I was trying to wrap my head around how they could be a tag team with three members. So they're not a faction, they're a tag team.
I mean, they're both.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that definitely so the Freebird rule.
Yeah.
All right. Thank y'all for coming by and being a part of this conversation. If you've got thoughts on the New Day or you got thoughts on the Usos or just want to kind of share your thoughts on this match, we'd love to hear from you down in the comments section. If you enjoyed this video, please do me a favor, click the like button. It only takes a second and it helps show your support for the channel. If you want to stay up to date with even more wrestling content, all you got to do is subscribe, click the bell to enable notifications, and then cross your fingers that you actually get notified when we upload a video. If you want to check out more of Tristan at the Martial Arts Film Freak on YouTube, check down in the description. I will post a link for that. And until next time, and on behalf of both of us, be terrible.